As y'all know, my previous bike was a 2024 CBR 650R. I was pretty much one of the first people to get the 24 model. I rode it for a year, decided to sell it and get a naked bike. Why? Well, first and foremost is because I want to ride comfortably, okay? I'm sure there are a lot of people who think sports bikes are comfortable. I'm not one of those. And I want to enjoy my rides and not suffer physically throughout it, and get home with terrible pain and stuff like that. But something I noticed, especially on social media, there's a certain stigma towards naked bikes. We have to enter that bubble, and you also have to understand that this is, of course, internet stuff, right? In real life, opinions will vary, but as we're approaching a era of motorcycle riders, and especially a lot of teens who get into motorcycling, something that I noticed is that a lot more people are starting on sports bikes than on naked bikes. And I feel like this is due to the pressure that they get from other friends, because sports bikes are cool, okay? They're cool. This is my opinion. I'm just, sort of parroting what I feel like social media is showing me and what it is making me feel like. You see a lot of people with Fireblades, double Rs, 600 double Rs, ZX6Rs, all of that stuff, Yamaha R7. Of course, it's totally fine if you purchase the bike you like, and if that happens to be a sports bike, go for it. What I'm trying to say is, a lot of people are probably overlooking motorcycles that they would probably enjoy more than a sports bike due to the fact that they want to impress. And yes, I've been there. I know from my own experience. When I bought my CBR, I was like, you know what? I want a sports bike. It doesn't matter really which one it was, but I wanted a sports bike. I went with the CBR, and I can now say, a year after buying it, that it wasn't the right decision, because what I wanted from motorcycling wasn't looking cool. It's being comfortable and enjoying the ride and enjoying my time. This is what I really wanted from motorcycling. Well, this realization came incredibly late, of course. Better late than never. What I'm really trying to convey in this video, and I hope I speak to some of you and I can reach some of you, especially younger people, don't get peer pressured into getting a specific type motorcycle, okay? If all of your friends are riding sports bikes, but you're the kind of person who really would love to get a Z650 or a Z900, go for it. Test ride all your bikes, make sure you absolutely love them, make sure they're comfortable for you, and don't just purchase a bike based off the looks. It's important that you like your motorcycle. Sure, if you're, 100% sure that sports bikes are your thing, that's totally fine as well. At least give some of the naked bikes on the market a chance, especially since they're much more beginner friendly than most of the sports bikes on the market right now. If you're looking at a Z650, fantastic beginner bike, or an SV650, also great beginner bike. Well, I started on an SV650, right? So I would know. And I can tell already that now that I switched to the Z900, I have already become a much more confident rider just because it's a better fit for me. And this is super important. You don't really gain anything from buying a sports bike and then dying or crashing, right? Because you can't fully control the bike. After switching back to a naked bike, this was the best decision that I ever made, because I realized what's fun for me is the bike itself and riding and the way I ride. Not what I ride, but the way I ride. And the way you ride a naked bike compared to a sports bike is completely different. Completely different. Yes, you do have that additional force of nature, as you can hear. It's probably picking up a lot more wind through the microphone. That is something that you're going to have to deal with. And honestly, up to 130, it's really not that big of a deal. Most of the time, it's really not that big of a deal. And in my opinion, it makes you feel a bit more in touch with nature, because you experience motorcycling the way it is. you experience all the forces of nature around you, and you start to learn to respect everything as well, right? So for your first bike decision, or your second bike decision, or your third, it doesn't matter. Find something that really fits your style. And once you found it, your riding skill will unlock. You know, your riding skill will not unlock if you're riding a sports bike, even though you're like, oh man, I wish I was riding a naked bike. No, you'll be wasting your time. It's going to be dangerous. The same as it was for me with my CBR. The CBR is in my riding style, and riding it, I didn't feel comfortable. I didn't feel safe. And that's really just what it is, right? But social media has been pushing a lot of young folks into this drawer where they feel like in order to compete on social media, they have to buy a sports bike. Trust me, no amount of validation on social media is going to make you enjoy riding more than if you found a bike that fits you. If you're looking at the Z900, for example, this bike is 9,500 euros. The CBR 650R is 10,500. It has less power, less torque, less features, less safety, worse build quality. It's an overall, on paper, worse package than the naked bike. But you're going to be drawn to buying the sports bike, right? Because it's flashy and it draws attention and people turn their heads, and trust me, I've turned more heads with this bike and this exhaust than I have with my CBR over the last 365 days. Seriously, people love this bike, and I got kids coming up to me wanting to rev and all that shit much more than with the CBR. And I feel like this is because you exert that energy that you have on your motorcycle. So what I'm really trying to say is, don't fall into the trap and try to appease to someone. Don't buy an SV1000S that is limited to fucking 34 horsepower because you want a 1000cc motorcycle and you can't even go that fast, and it's a complete trash machine just to impress someone, just to belittle someone because you have more cc than them, or because your bike was more expensive, or because you have a sports bike. Ignore all of that shit. Go try out some cool naked bikes, see what you like, make your decision, and trust me, I can say this now. When I posted about me selling my CBR, I got so many messages from people saying, oh, I've been thinking of selling my CBR, dude. It's not enough power, I don't feel it, it feels like a kid's bike, this and that. So many messages from people telling me they want to sell it because it's not what they were looking for. And that's totally fine. I just think it's really funny because the CBR is sort of like the entry-level motorcycle for all the people who want to get into a sports bike. It's exactly that. You buy the CBR or the R7. That's really it, right? Everyone who is going to test ride the Z900 after the CBR is gonna rethink their decision to purchase a CBR. I'm not saying the CBR is a bad bike, but all of the naked bikes currently on the market, they're gonna blow you away, especially with the torque. And trust me, a 4-cylinder engine is complete trash if it has no torque. Trust me, I know. This thing has double the torque that my CBR did. Watch this. If you want usability, power that can be used on the road at all times, in all rev ranges, in every gear, go for a naked bike. Get something with a lot of torque. This thing right here is the best bang for the buck you can get on the market right now. It is right now. This and the Hornet have completely shaken up the market. Give them a try. And I think you're gonna fall in love and try and, ignore what all those people on social media say and try to do your own thing because you're here for a good time, okay? That's really it. So, that's all I wanted to say in this video. Let's break the stigma. Peace.